So first is why. We always have to understand why we're doing something before we get into it. And the first reason I can think of is, how many of you have ever typed a word into the report type selection screen and you get overwhelmed by the litany of results that show up? Anybody have that experience? Now, it's not just you. Your users are also feeling overwhelmed by this screen too. Sometimes to the point where they don't even try to run reports anymore. They just ask you to send them numbers. And it can happen daily, sometimes too much. And you're like, why can't you just run that report yourself? I've sent you that before. It's too overwhelming for them. They're not technical people. They're managers. They're Lumbergs. They just need to get the answers they need. Now, other people you're going to run into are your upper management. You might have a CFO. You might have some consultants like the Bobs here. And they're trying to reconcile data from Salesforce against another system, maybe a general ledger. So they're coming to you asking questions like, why isn't this record showing up? Or why don't the totals in this system match the totals in that system? Now, these are not technical people either, so they're just coming to you and they need you to figure this out. All they know is something here is missing something, and I can't tell you what it is. Now, anytime you're put on one of these tasks where your manager might be sending you to debug a report, figure out why records aren't showing up, it's always one of 5 distinct reasons that I find. So I'm going to cover each distinct reason in detail. Filters, 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 filters. It is always filters as the culprit. If we break that down one level, there's 5 kinds of filters you should be on the lookout for. The report type, a lot of you might not think of it, but report type is a filter. And sometimes you can be burying enforcing object relationships in your report type, and you might not even be aware of it. The rest of these are all pretty obvious because when you're running your report, you see them at the top of the screen. So if something is wrong there, you can easily go figure that out. But we're really going to focus on that report type and why that might be a filter and how to utilize that to your strength and when you can avoid it altogether.